Is being lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer an African? Before you answer that question, I want you to watch this video thoroughly because you're going to want to hear what I have to say about this so you can understand our African mindset, our way of thinking, and why we're making the decisions that we're making in regards to the LGBTQ community. And perhaps it'll give you some insight into your own way of thinking. Stay tuned. So Ghana is currently legislating a bill in the Ghanaian parliament that would make it illegal, punishable by crime, to be either gay, bisexual, or transgender. The news organization Reuters is saying that the so-called family values bill has dismayed the local LGBTQ community and prompted UN human rights experts to warn it could establish a system of state-sponsored discrimination and violence. State-sponsored discrimination and violence. That's kind of crazy. So when we hear narratives like this, you really got to consider the source and where it's coming from. Reuters is Western media, started by a guy called Reuter that was born in Germany, a company that's located in London, England. So it seems that in Western media, anything that comes out of Africa that is not equal to their value system is considered sometimes discrimination or something that's violent in their eyes. Now, with that being said, I have to give kudos to Nana Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, the President of Ghana. He said, and I quote, "What I would hope for is that the debate itself be civil, that we will recognize the need for us to be tolerant of each other, even when there are opposing views." Unquote. So it seems that that's being relayed from a president who's fair-minded, who's open, and this has to be debated. The reason that I'm making this video is because my mission for this YouTube channel is to help create different avenues of plugging the African-American community into Ghana. And I feel that it's my responsibility to have this conversation because if I'm making these kind of videos, I don't want to put my brothers and sisters here in the United States or to invite them to visit Ghana and put people in uncomfortable positions. Because I know that in the African-American community here in the United States or even other communities in other parts of Europe, that there are people who have alternative lifestyles. But historically in Africa, and specifically Ghana in this case, we haven't been used to alternative lifestyles. Growing up in Ghana until the age of 12, I never knew of anybody that was gay, lesbian, or what have you. I never even knew about that. I didn't know nothing about anybody being gay until I came here to the United States. As a matter of fact, the first time that I saw two men kiss was on TV. And, honestly, I thought that was really strange. So another reason why I'm making this video, because I came across a CBS News discussion about this very topic with a New York University director of Accra that's based in Ghana.
New York University in Accra, Chike Frankie Dozian. Thank you so much for joining us. So this is concerning. Same-sex conduct is, good morning. Same-sex conduct is already outlawed in Ghana. So what is this new promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill? That's the name of it. What is it looking to criminalize exactly?
It's looking to criminalize everything and everybody that is non-heterosexual and that is not ideologically Christian or Muslim. And what this does is that it allows people to be jailed for even just saying that they are gay. It allows for, they're trying to even have extradition treaties with countries where people who are gay have run out of Ghana to be able to bring them back to face persecution. It allows you, if you are the parent of an intersex child, to make that decision immediately and say that your child is going to be this, and then that child has to live with that gender for the rest of their life. It prohibits people from even considering foster care or adoption or anything at all that is non-heterosexual and Christian or Muslim, essentially. And so African traditions and our diversity and all the stuff that Africans have been having for generations comes to an end if this bill should pass.
So comment down below and let me know. Do you think that this new proposal is harsh? Do you think that this is something that should not even happen or should not even be considered in a place like Ghana or even other parts of Africa?
Okay, so I'm really glad that you used the phrase African traditions, because supporters of the bill have argued that, in fact, homosexuality is contrary to Ghanaian culture, that this is not part of the tradition. So my question is twofold. Your reaction to that, And what is life like for members of the LGBTQ community in Ghana?
So one of the great things about Ghana, and truly much of West Africa and other parts of the African continent, is that there's always been a diversity of people and a diversity of thought and a diversity of families. And this bill will leave a wake of destruction for so many different families who for generations have had different kinds of people in them. I think it is a fallacy to think that African families are simply just heterosexual. There have been all kinds of African families from the beginning of time. What has happened in Ghana with this new bill is that most people have gone underground. People have become afraid. People are using digital technology because just to be out there puts yourself at risk. In February, the very first community center for LGBTQ people opened with a little bit of fanfare. And what had happened was that LGBTQ people had gone and raised money to have a space where they could feel safe and where they could have jobs training, and where if there were problems with families, people could go to and not be sleeping on the streets. Now that was shut down very rapidly by this government. And then following that, we saw the real push to have this this draconian bill pushed through the Ghanaian parliament. There's also a political dimension to this in that most of the proponents of this bill are in the opposition party. And so they're not able to articulate a message that will bring them to power in the next go round. So what they've glammed on is the lowest hanging fruit, because people think that LGBTQ people don't have political power. They're a minuscule minority. And so here in Ghana, it is easy for them to be trampled over.
Because Ghana is not the only country where they have these draconian laws where being gay is not widely accepted, or being in the LGBTQ community is not widely accepted. Okay. And this is because of who we are as Africans. You know, in Africa, religion is really a huge part of the society. I mean, most parts of Africa, you're either Christian or Muslim. And there, of course, there are other religions, but for the most part, Christians and Muslim. And in the Bible, for example, homosexuality is a sin. Okay, so this is how people are raised, and this is how these lawmakers have these type of mindsets.
And what they've done is that they've imported from America the use of wedge issues, which America saw in their politics for years, and brought that in here, and having an issue in which they believe everybody will rally around them and use that as a means to sort of not just squash Ghanaians that they don't agree with, but also as a stepping stone to uniting people to be behind them.
Imported the wedge issue concept. Very interesting as well. So while you have one group sort of arguing that LGBTQ plus acceptance is something imported from a foreign culture, you have others suggesting that this, like you just said, this sort of reaction is also kind of imported. And there are critics that argue that, you know, this really started to pick up steam after a 2019 conference hosted by the World Congress of Families, which, you know, the Southern Poverty Law Center designates as a hate group. There was a conference held in Ghana. And so can we talk about that, whether or not this is being bolstered by perhaps outside organizations?
See, one thing that I don't like and necessarily appreciate, and I'm really concerned with, is the West trying to force its ideals and culture onto African societies. See, it's already happened before. Africans were once enslaved. And how did that happen? By the missionaries coming to Africa and forcing Christianity onto Africans while we had our own spiritual beliefs and everything else. And then it happened a second time when Africa was colonized. Could this be a part three? Could this be something that has happened, history repeating itself? Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with me, because it's really concerning to me how the West is always trying to force something onto Africa, because Africa is a completely different society unto itself, different cultures, and so many different traditions, because there are 54 different countries in Africa.
So what we've seen in the last 10 to 15 years is that groups like the World Congress of Families or the National Observatory for Marriage have essentially tried to have ballot initiatives all around America, and very often they fail. And so now places like Eastern Europe, Georgia, to basically Ghana, in West Africa have now become fertile ground for them. Having lost the cultural wars relatively in America, they've now decided to come to places like Ghana and say, the one problem you have in your schools is that you allow same-sex, you allow LGBTQ things to be taught in curriculums. And LGBTQ people are going to be the bane of your society. They are going to cause the most problems.
Do y'all see what I'm saying? Y'all peeping game. Do you see that these different organizations always have an agenda when it comes to Africa? They're always trying to insert their way of thinking and their way of.
So this bill written by these lawmakers here in Ghana really is essentially a copy and paste from the World Congress of Families playbook. They've done this in other places. And so now they've imported this, and the rhetoric that comes with their very harsh rhetoric saying that this is not Ghanaian and this is not African, and this is like homosexuality and anything that's non-heterosexual is imported from the West. It's really kind of ironic because the entire bill is imported from the World Congress of Families and the National Organization for Marriage. And so you have this situation where this particular party, the NDC, is looking to rally people around it. And they have found the perfect foil to do that, again, using tactics from the West. Ghana, for generations, has always been the most open place, and it still is in some respects. Many people have come here, and Ghana has always had a constitution that protected the rights of the minority. This bill is attempting to turn the clock back. Anyone who knows Ghana's history knows that there's a reason why it is a beacon of independence and the Black Star of Africa, because everybody has been protected here. You didn't have to like them, you didn't have to love them, but they had protections for all sorts of minorities here. This bill is wanting to turn the clock back on that.
So does Africa need to toe the line and just follow what the West is doing, or should we stay to our own self? And do you think if we do that, are we going to get left behind? Because the world is already a big village, you know, with technology, everything is pretty much connected. So it might be almost impossible for Africans to just say, no, we're going to do this one thing and just stay this way. Here's the deal. I've been creating content on YouTube for close to a year now. As a matter of fact, October 27th will be my 1-year anniversary of my first video upload. So most of the content that I make is trying to get the African-American community to visit Ghana and invest in Ghana, and possibly maybe one day live in Ghana, because I believe that Ghana is a great place. But I also don't want my brothers and sisters to feel uncomfortable, because I know that there is an LGBTQ community in the African-American community here in the United States. So I wouldn't want anyone that is of that lifestyle to feel like they're not welcome in Ghana. But Ghana is a very welcoming place, and Africa has been a welcoming place. So on the other hand, I believe that that's been kind of our problem and our issue in the past, is that we're so welcoming, that we're too open to other cultures coming into Africa and doing whatever they feel that they need to do, including take advantage of its people and its resources. So that's my main concern, and that's the reason why I made this video, because I wanted to put the message out there that even though you should feel welcome in Africa, we also shouldn't allow a westernized mindset to be able to dominate and take over our culture and our traditions in Africa. So I'm just going to leave it at that, and then you make up your mind the way that you want to think, because I'm not here to change anyone's mind in whatever that they want to do and the way that they want to live their life, right? So feel free to comment below. Thank you for watching this content, and if you made it to the end of this video, I want to thank you for checking out this piece of content. Make sure you check out this one here about whether African Americans deserve to have citizenship in Africa. It's either going to be on my left or my right. But thank you so much. It's your man, King Anan, signing out, and I'll catch you on the next video.